The massive white hull of the USNS Mercy III gleamed under the distant starlight as it moved through space with deliberate grace. Red crosses marked its sides, a symbol of hope that had endured for centuries. Inside the ship's command center, Captain Laura Bennett stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the holographic display of their patrol route through the outer colonies. The year was 2157, and humanity had spread across dozens of star systems. Yet some things remained constant: the need to heal, to help, and to save lives. The Mercy II represented the peak of that endeavor, a floating city of healing larger than any warship in Earth's fleet. "Captain, daily systems check is complete," reported Dr. Peter Collins from his station. His creation, the ship's medical eye, hummed quietly in the background, monitoring thousands of parameters simultaneously. "All medical facilities are operating at optimal efficiency." Laura nodded, her short gray hair catching the light from the holographic displays. 20 years of commanding hospital ships had left their mark, but her eyes remained sharp and alert. "How are our patients from the Proxima mining accident doing?" "All 17 miners are recovering well," Peter replied, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "The AI's nanite treatments have accelerated their healing by approximately 300% compared to traditional methods." The bridge crew worked quietly at their stations, each monitoring different aspects of the massive vessel. The Mercy II wasn't just a hospital ship, it was humanity's greatest achievement in medical technology. Its 20 decks contained everything from emergency trauma centers to long-term care facilities, all supported by the most advanced medical eye ever created. Susan Martinez, the chief medical officer, entered the bridge. Her dark blue medical uniform contrasted with the white and red of the bridge crew's attire. "Captain, we've successfully tested the new organ printing facility. We can now produce replacement organs 40% faster than before." Laura smiled. Every improvement meant more lives saved. She remembered when she first started in the medical service, when growing replacement organs took weeks. Now they could do it in hours. "Excellent work, Doctor. How are thee?" The alert klaxon cut through her words. Alan Douglas, the security officer, straightened at his console. "Captain, we're receiving a distress signal from Colony P7. Multiple casualties reported." Laura didn't hesitate. "Plot a course, maximum safe speed." "Susan, prepare all emergency facilities." "Peter, have the AI begin running scenarios based on the incoming data." The massive hospital ship changed course, its engines pulsing with blue light as it accelerated. Colony P7 was one of the newer settlements, a mining operation in a mineral-rich system. The colony's small medical facility wasn't equipped to handle major disasters. "Initial data coming in," Alan reported, his voice grim. "There was some kind of explosion in the main mining complex. They're reporting at least 50 injured, possibly more trapped." The bridge erupted into focused activity. This was what they trained for, why they were out here in the depths of space. The Mercy II's massive hull contained enough medical supplies and equipment to treat thousands of patients, and its crew of 400 medical professionals were the best in human space. Kevin Wright, the first officer, coordinated with different departments as they prepared for arrival. "All trauma teams report ready. Emergency transporters are warming up. Trade centers are being prepared." Laura watched the distance counter tick down. They were still 20 minutes out, even at maximum speed. She silently urged the ship to go faster, knowing that every minute could mean another life lost. The Mercy IA's engines strained as they pushed the massive vessel to its limits. "Captain," Peter called out, his voice carrying a note of concern. "The AI is detecting some anomalies in the distress signal. The pattern seems unusual. The signal strength is fluctuating in a way that doesn't match any known human emergency beacon. It could be equipment damage, but..." Before he could finish, new alerts flashed across the main display. The distress signal suddenly grew stronger, and new signatures appeared on their sensors. Something was very wrong at Colony P7, but they were committed now. The Mercy II had taken an oath to help those in need, no matter the circumstance. All hands, this is the captain, Laura announced shipwide. Prepare for possible complications upon arrival. Security teams to standby positions. Remember your training. Remember our mission. We're here to save lives, no matter what we face. Bennett out. The USNS Mercy III continued its course toward Colony P7, its white hull now gleaming red under the light of the system's star. None of its crew could have known they were sailing. The USNS Mercy III dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Colony P7, and the bridge crew fell silent. Where they expected to see the familiar sight of a mining colony, they instead found chaos. 3 alien vessels, their hulls covered in sharp, angular patterns, were firing upon the colony's main complex. Multiple direct hits on the mining facility, Alan Douglas reported, his hands flying over his security console. Life signs detected in the underground bunkers. Colony shields are failing. Captain Laura Bennett's mind raced through their options. The Mercy II was no warship. Its shields were designed to withstand meteor impacts and radiation, not weapons fire. But there were people down there who needed help. This is Captain Bennett of the USNS Mercy II. She broadcast on all frequencies. We are a medical vessel responding to a distress call. We claim neutrality under Section 7 of the Earth Interstellar Medical Code. The alien ships stopped firing. For a moment, hope flickered through the bridge. Then a harsh, guttural voice responded in surprisingly good English. This is War Leader Krax of the Krathak Empire. You claim to be medical. Explain. Susan Martinez watched the alien ships on the main screen, her medical training already cataloging the differences in their design. The way their ships seemed built for aggression, all sharp angles and weapon ports. Captain, we're getting readings from the colony. At least 30 severe casualties, dozens more with minor injuries. War Leader, Laura responded, keeping her voice steady. We are a hospital ship. We treat the sick and injured. We carry no weapons. We request permission to evacuate the wounded from the colony. The alien response was immediate and confused. You waste resources on the weak. This makes no sense. Your vessel is larger than any human warship we have detected. It must be a deception. Peter Collins spoke quietly from his station. Captain, the AI has analyzed their language patterns. They seem genuinely confused by the concept of a dedicated medical ship. Laura made a decision. War Leader, I am transmitting our ship's specifications and medical credentials. We will approach the colony with shields lowered. You may scan us to verify we carry only medical equipment. The bridge crew held their breath. On the main screen, they could see escape pods launching from the colony, only to be targeted by the alien ship's tractor beams. Chief Martinez, prepare for mass casualties, Laura ordered. Alan, coordinate with colony security for evacuation routes. Peter, have the AI ready all translation protocols. We may need to treat injured aliens as well. The Krathak ships moved to surround the Mercy III as it approached the colony. Their scans penetrated the ship's hull, examining every deck, every room. Scans confirmed no weapons, the alien voice declared, sounding almost disappointed. You may proceed with your medical mission, but know that any deviation will result in immediate destruction. Emergency shuttles launched from the Mercy II's massive landing bays, each one carrying medical teams in protective suits. Susan led the first team into the colony's main complex, where they found scenes of devastation. The aliens had been methodical in their attack, targeting key infrastructure. Dr. Martinez, a colony security officer, gasped, clutching a wounded arm. They just appeared out of nowhere, said something about testing our defenses, when they saw we were just miners. Susan's team worked quickly, stabilizing the most critical patients. Through her helmet camera, the ship's AI analyzed injuries and suggested treatments in real time. They found survivors in sealed maintenance tunnels, in collapsed corridors, and under rubble. Then came a transmission that changed everything. Medical vessel, War Leader Krex announced, We have warriors injured by your colony's defensive measures. Our doctrine demands their honorable death. But we observe your actions with interest. Would you dare treat a Krathak warrior?" Laura exchanged glances with her senior staff. This was unprecedented. First contact, in the middle of an attack, with the possibility of treating alien casualties. The wrong move could start an interstellar war. The right one might prevent it. "We treat all patients, war leader," she replied firmly. "Injury knows no species. Send your wounded. They will receive the same care as any other patient under our protection." The silence that followed seemed to stretch forever. Then, slowly, an alien shuttle emerged from the largest Krathak vessel. As it approached the Mercy I's emergency bay, Laura knew they were about to either make history or become part of it. The next few hours would determine which. Inside the Mercy I's main emergency bay, time seemed to slow as the first Krathak warrior was brought in on a stretcher. The alien was massive, nearly 8 feet tall, with scaled skin and multiple rows of bony ridges along its arms. A deep plasma burn covered most of its chest, and one of its 4 eyes was swollen shut. Susan Martinez stepped forward, medical scanner in hand. The warrior's companions, 2 armed guards, tensed visibly. "I need to examine the patient," she said clearly, knowing the ship's eye was translating. "Please step back." The injured Krathak spoke in a raspy voice. "Why do you not grant me warrior's death? Our way demands it." "Not in this medical bay," Susan replied firmly. "Here we fight death itself." She began treating the plasma burns while explaining each step. The warrior's guards watched in fascination as damaged tissue began to heal under the regeneration field. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Captain Laura Bennett faced a new crisis. First Officer Kevin Wright had discovered something troubling in their communications array. "They're blocking all our transmissions to Earth," Kevin reported, showing her the analysis. "Even our quantum entanglement channels are being jammed somehow. We're cut off." Laura studied the data, then turned to Peter Collins. "Can we modify the medical eyes diagnostic systems to pierce their jamming? It already cuts through interference to communicate with our emergency teams." Peter's fingers flew across his console as he worked with the AI. "The diagnostic frequencies. Yes, we might be able to piggyback an emergency signal on them, but it would be slow, and they might detect it." "Do it," Laura ordered. "Keep it focused on medical data, casualty reports, supply requests. Make it look like routine hospital traffic." The ship shuddered slightly as another Krathak vessel moved closer, its weapons still trained on them. War Leader Crox's voice came through again. "Your medical vessel's presence is disrupting proper combat protocol. You will withdraw." Laura stood straighter, her voice firm. "War Leader, we have 37 patients currently undergoing critical care procedures, including 3 of your own warriors. Moving them now would endanger their lives. We invoke Article 3 of the Interstellar Medical Code. Neutral medical facilities must be allowed to complete treatment of critical patients." "You hide behind laws we do not recognize," Crox growled. "We hide behind nothing," Laura replied. "Our bay doors are open. Our shields are down. We stand between you and your targets because that is what healers have done since the beginning of civilization. If you want to destroy this colony, you'll have to destroy its hospital first." In the medical bay, Susan noticed something remarkable. The Krathak warrior under her care was watching the human medical team treat injured colonists nearby. His expression, though alien, showed clear confusion. "Your people risk themselves for strangers," the warrior observed. "For the weak." Susan continued her work as she answered, "Strength isn't just about combat. Sometimes it takes more courage to heal than to harm." The warrior fell silent, but his guards shifted uncomfortably. One of them touched a communication device, speaking rapidly in their native language. Peter's voice came over the internal comm. "Captain, we're detecting increased communications between the Krathak ships. They seem to be arguing." The massive hospital ship hung in space, its white hull reflecting the light of nearby stars. Inside, human doctors worked alongside medical robots, treating humans and aliens alike. The ship's AI had successfully began transmitting coded messages through the Kruthack jamming, buried in routine medical data. But time was running out. Long-range sensors detected more Kruthack ships approaching. Laura knew the next few minutes would determine not just their fate, but possibly the course of human-alien relations for centuries to come. She opened a channel to all decks. All personnel, this is the captain. Continue your duties. Every life we save proves who we are as a species. Whatever comes next, we will face it as healers. She paused, then added quietly, the stars themselves will bear witness to our choice. In the medical bay, the first Kruthack warrior was sitting up, his wounds nearly healed. He looked at Susan with all four eyes and said something that would later be remembered in history books. Perhaps there is honor in healing too. The message that finally broke through the Kruthack jamming reached Earth's Space Command like a thunderbolt. Admiral Mary Harrison stood in the command center, watching the replay of the garbled transmission hidden in medical data streams. The sight of the massive hospital ship surrounded by alien warships made her blood run cold. They attacked a clearly marked medical vessel, she said, her voice tight with controlled anger. Get me every ship in the Third Fleet. Now. Across Earth space, the response was immediate and unprecedented. Ships that normally competed for trade routes now shared coordinates and jump calculations. Colony defense vessels left their posts, replaced by civilian ships volunteering to stand guard. Everyone understood. An attack on a hospital ship was an attack on humanity itself. Back at Colony P7, the Mercy IA's medical bay had become an unlikely meeting ground between species. Susan Martinez moved between beds containing both humans and Kruthack, her team working tirelessly. The ship's AI had adapted its translation protocols, allowing for better communication with their alien patients. Your methods are strange, growled a Kruthack warrior as his wounds were treated, but effective. How do you bear the shame of survival? There is no shame in living, Susan replied, adjusting the regeneration field. Your survival means you can fight another day, protect more of your people. On the bridge, Captain Laura Bennett received new sensor data from Alan Douglas. 5 more Kruthack ships have entered the system, Captain, larger than the others. Laura studied the tactical display, noting how the new arrivals positioned themselves around the Mercy II. Their weapons remained hot, but they hadn't fired. The initial attacking ships had pulled back, almost as if ashamed. Captain, Peter Collins called out, the AI has finished analyzing their communication patterns. There's something odd. The new arrivals, they're arguing with the original attackers. Strongly. The main screen lit up with a new transmission. A different Kruthack appeared, older, with more elaborate armor markings. I am High Commander Vexkar. Our warriors speak of strange things, of humans who fight death itself, who treat enemy and ally alike. Explain this contradiction. Laura stood tall. There is no contradiction. High Commander, we are healers. That is our strength, our purpose, and our honor. Honor. Vexkar's tone carried confusion. You speak of warrior concepts while hiding behind medical symbols. The greatest victory, Laura replied, is not the battle that takes lives, but the battle that saves them. The silence that followed was broken by alarms from Kevin Wright's station. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL. Captain. They're ours. The space around Colony P7 lit up as Earth's Third Fleet arrived, led by the newly commissioned medical frigates. Each one bore the same red cross as the Mercy II, but their designs incorporated defensive capabilities learned from decades of protecting hospital ships. Admiral Harrison's voice came through clear and strong. This is Earth Space Command to all vessels. The USNS Mercy II and Colony P7 are under our protection. To the Kruthack forces, you have 1 hour to withdraw or explain your actions against a medical vessel. In the medical bay, something remarkable was happening. The Kruthack warriors, now mostly healed, stood together watching the human doctors continue their work. One of them, the first patient they had treated, stepped forward. "I must speak with our High Commander," he announced. "There is much our people do not understand about humans, about strength, about honor." Laura received the request on the bridge, looking at the tactical display showing the standoff between the two fleets. The next few moments would determine whether this became a war or something else entirely. She thought about every patient in her medical bay, human and alien alike. "Permission granted," she said. "Let them see what real strength looks like. The strength to heal, to save, to protect life itself." Deep in Krathak space, the news spread like wildfire through their war fleets. Warriors were being healed alongside prey species. The concept shook the very foundation of their society. In their grand war chamber, the Krathak High Command watched video feeds from their injured warriors, transmitted from the human hospital ship. "This cannot stand," growled Supreme War Chief Krasnak, his scales bristling with rage. "They make our warriors soft. They corrupt our values with their mercy." He slammed his fist on the command table. "Launch the primary battle fleet. We will end this insult to our honor." Meanwhile, aboard the Mercy II, Nurse John Parker changed the bandages on a Krathak warrior's arm. The alien, Sub-Commander Krell, watched the gentle process with all four eyes. "In all my battles," Krell said quietly, "I never imagined being touched without violence. Your hands heal instead of harm. This is strange to us." John smiled as he worked. "Sometimes the bravest thing isn't fighting. It's living to fight another day, or choosing not to fight at all." The ship's AI recorded every interaction, every conversation. Peter Collins monitored the data flow from his station on the bridge. "Captain, the AI is picking up significant psychological changes in our Krathak patients. They're asking questions about our medical practices, our values." Laura Bennett nodded, watching the tactical display where human and Krathak ships maintained their standoff. "Keep recording everything. The more they learn about us, the better chance we have of preventing a war." Susan Martinez entered the bridge, looking tired but determined. "Captain, our Krathak patients are requesting permission to contact their fleet. They want to share their experiences here." Before Laura could respond, Alan Douglas's console lit up with warnings. Multiple targets emerging from FTL. It's the Krathak primary battle fleet. Over 30 ships, all capital class. The massive vessels appeared like dark stars against the void, their weapon ports glowing with deadly energy. On the main screen, Supreme War Chief Krasnak's face appeared, his expression one of cold fury. "You have violated our most sacred laws," he announced. "Warriors who cannot fight must die with honor. To heal them is to destroy their spirit. This ends now." Laura opened her mouth to respond, but another voice cut in. Sub-Commander Krell, standing proudly despite his bandages, had entered the bridge. "Supreme War Chief," Krell said, his voice carrying the weight of revelation, "I challenge your understanding of honor. These humans fought death itself to save us. Their healing arts require more courage than any battlefield." Krasnak's eyes narrowed. "You are corrupted by their weakness." "No," Krell responded. "I am enlightened by their strength. The human healers stand unarmed before their enemies, protected only by their dedication to life. Is that not true courage?" The ship's AI continued broadcasting every word across human space and to the Krathak fleet. In medical bays throughout the ship, other Krathak warriors watched and listened, their own experiences with human medical care reshaping their understanding of strength and honor. Laura stepped forward. "Supreme War Chief, your warriors came to us as enemies. We treated them as patients. That is our way. If you want to destroy this ship, you'll have to kill your own warriors first, warriors we fought to save." The tension stretched like a wire about to snap. In the medical bay, John continued treating patients, human and alien alike. Susan prepared more beds, refusing to believe that healing could lead to war. Peter's fingers flew across his console, ensuring every moment was recorded for both species to witness. The future of two civilizations hung in the balance, all because a hospital ship refused to abandon its mission of mercy. Admiral Mary Harrison stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching as more ships arrived to join Earth's growing fleet. But these weren't regular warships. They were the newly commissioned medical combat vessels, each one inspired by the Mercy Aya's brave stand. "Fleet status report," she ordered, her eyes fixed on the tactical display showing both human and Krathak forces. 23 medical combat ships have arrived, her tactical officer reported. 15 more en route. Each one carries full hospital facilities plus defensive systems. The Krathak don't know what to make of them. Lieutenant Carol Miller, the fleet's medical coordinator, worked at her station coordinating the incoming hospital ships. Vessels from Mars Colony, Europa Station, and even the distant Proxima settlements had jumped into the system, forming what she called a humanitarian blockade. "Admiral," Carol reported, "all ships report their medical bays ready. We can treat over 10,000 patients across the fleet. The Krathak are scanning our ships continuously, trying to understand what they're seeing." On the Mercy II, Captain Laura Bennett received a priority message from Earth Command. The orders made her smile. For the first time in space history, hospital ships would lead the fleet. "All ships, this is Captain Bennett," she broadcast. "Form up on the Mercy II. Medical vessels in front, combat escorts behind. Show them what humanity stands for." The fleet moved with precision, the white hulls of the hospital ships creating a wall of healing between the Krathak battle fleet and Colony P7. Each vessel proudly displayed the Red Cross, their medical bays fully staffed and ready. In the Mercy I's medical bay, Susan Martins and John Parker continued their work, now aided by doctors and nurses from the newly arrived ships. The Krathak patients watched in amazement as the humans established an entire network of healing right in the middle of a potential war zone. "Your people build warships with hospitals inside them," Sub-Commander Krell observed from his bed. "You prepare for battle by preparing to heal." "It's who we are," John replied, checking the aliens' vital signs. "We fight when we must, but we always heal. Always." On the bridge, Peter Collins monitored the Eye's broadcasts. The scenes from their medical bay were being transmitted to every ship in both fleets. Humans and aliens working together, saving lives together. "The Krathak ships are moving," Alan Douglas announced suddenly. They're pulling back their weapon targeting systems." Supreme War Chief Krasnak's image appeared on the main screen again, but his expression had changed. "Your fleet arrives not to destroy, but to heal. Even now, you think of saving lives." "Especially now," Laura replied. "Every ship you see carries doctors, nurses, and medical supplies. We're ready for war, Supreme War Chief, but we'd rather show you another way. A stronger way." The tactical display showed more Earth ships arriving, hospital ships from the outer colonies, medical research vessels, even civilian medical transports volunteering to help. Each one took its place in the humanitarian blockade, their white hulls gleaming. "Look at your own warriors," Admiral Harrison added, joining the transmission. "Ask them what they've learned about true strength." In the medical bay, the Krathak patients had gathered, watching the standoff on display screens. Their own battle fleet faced a wall of hospital ships, a sight unprecedented in their history of warfare. Carol Miller's voice came over the fleet channel. "All medical ships report ready. We can begin transferring patients and supplies as needed. We stand ready to treat anyone, from any species, no questions asked." The moment stretched out, filled with possibility. Humanity had responded to an alien threat, not just with ships of war, but with ships of healing. They had drawn a line in space, not with weapons, but with an unshakable commitment to preserving life. 5 years after the standoff at Colony P7, the Great Hall of the Earth Krathak Cultural Exchange Center buzzed with activity. Captain Laura Bennett, now Ambassador Bennett, stood before a group of young Krathak warriors and human medical students. Behind her, the preserved hull section of the USNS Mercy III served as a monument. "The day we chose to heal instead of harm," she told her audience, "we changed two civilizations forever." The changes had been profound and far-reaching. The Krathak had experienced a cultural revolution, sparked by the warriors who had been treated aboard the Mercy II. Their strict code of death before dishonor had evolved to include the honor found in survival and healing. In the medical bay of the new Joint Species Hospital ship, the KES Unity, Susan Martinez supervised a mixed team of human and Krathak medical staff. The alien doctors had adapted their natural fighting instincts into an aggressive approach to treating disease and injury. More pressure on that regeneration field, she instructed a young Krathak healer. "Remember, we fight death itself here. Show no mercy to the injury." The Krathak medical student nodded, his 4 eyes focused intently on the task. Their species had taken to medical training with the same intensity they'd once reserved for combat training. Peter Collins, now head of the Interspecies Medical AI Development Program, watched from the observation deck. The ship's AI had evolved too, incorporating both human and Krathak medical knowledge into its databases. "Their warrior nature makes them excellent trauma surgeons," he noted to John Parker, who had become the program's chief nursing instructor. "They never give up on a patient." In the ship's memorial hall, a recorded message from Sub-Commander Krell played on loop. "We thought we knew strength. We thought we knew honor. The humans showed us that true power lies not in taking life, but in preserving it. Their healers fought harder than any warrior. They fought death itself, and they taught us to do the same." Admiral Mary Harrison, reviewing the latest fleet deployment reports, smiled at the changes. The medical combat vessels had become the backbone of both human and Krathak space forces. Every battle group now centered around hospital ships, their crews ready to save friends and foes alike. Lieutenant Carol Miller, now Fleet Medical Commander, had overseen the creation of the Joint Medical Response Force. Human and Krathak ships patrolled space together, responding to disasters and emergencies across known space. Another rescue mission complete, she reported to the Joint Command. The Krathak medical teams were first into the damaged station. Their combat experience makes them exceptional at emergency response. In the Academy of Healing Arts on the Krathak homeworld, the story of the Mercy II had become required study. Young warriors learned that the strongest battle was not against an enemy, but against death, disease, and injury. The ship's eyes recordings have been preserved, studied, and shared across both civilizations. They showed the moment when humanity's dedication to healing had overcome an alien species' dedication to warfare. The Krathak called it the Revelation of Mercy. Alan Douglas, still serving as a security officer, but now on a joint species vessel, often told new crews about that historic day. "We didn't win because we were stronger," he would say. "We won because we showed them a different kind of strength." In orbit around Earth, a new ship took shape in the construction yards, the largest vessel ever built by either species. Its hull bore both the human Red Cross and the Krathak honor marks. It would carry 1,000 beds, hundreds of medical staff from both species, and the most advanced healing technologies ever developed. They named it the Unity, and on its maiden voyage, Ambassador Bennett spoke the words that had become the motto of the new era. "In healing, we find strength. In mercy, we find victory. In saving lives, we save ourselves." The legacy of the Mercy II lived on, a testament to the day when humanity's greatest defense had not been its weapons, but its unwavering commitment to preserve life itself.